This summer, I took on my biggest paddling challenge yet. The goal was to paddle roughly 18 miles on Lake Jocassee to visit 4 waterfalls and a jumping rock. But things didn't quite go to plan.
So I'm not actually sure if this is going to work. I was supposed to do an 18-mile paddle today, which would be my longest ever by far. But there's supposed to be like 0 wind this morning and then picking up later today. And it's already pretty strong. I can't stop and look at my map at all, or else I'll turn for sure, or I'll start going backwards and pushing the rocks and trees now. I can't paddle for 18 miles against waves this strong. I could do it for a little while, but it would be way too hard for 18 miles. Yes, I'm not sure what the plan is now. I don't know if it's supposed to die down later or what. So I'm holding on to a tree in the water so I don't actually move. But this is what it's like already when it said there was supposed to be no wind at all. It's just unfortunate because it's really pretty out. I really want to do this paddle. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to.
Lake Jocassee didn't actually exist until 1973, which, coming from an area where the lakes were formed by glaciers, the concept of a recent lake still really throws me off. The dam was built in order to create hydroelectric power, which led to the formation of the lake. It also, however, led to the town that was at the bottom of the valley being flooded. I couldn't get over how clear this water is. And it was actually decently warm. A lot of times, really clear water will also be really cold. So this was a pleasant surprise. It was around here that I ran into a group of women on a boat for the second or third time. I believe they were doing some sort of tour around the lake, and they were very impressed that I chose to paddle around it. They asked what time I had started and where I had put in, and then clapped and cheered for me, which felt really encouraging when I had already been paddling for hours and was only about halfway done.
Yeah. Thank you.
I did also run into the same group when I was like a half mile from my car, at which point they offered me a lift the rest of the way back. I thanked them and declined, but appreciate that I briefly had my own personal hype squad.
This one's a lot smaller, but it also has significantly less people.
As I'm sure you already know, the South gets very warm in the summer. But the great thing about paddleboarding is it's super easy to cool off quickly. As I mentioned in the beginning, I set a big goal for today and knew it was going to be hard. I didn't quite reach my goal, but I still paddled close to 17 miles thanks to some wind causing some less than straight paths and made it to 2 of the waterfalls. I did consider pushing on to see the other 2 waterfalls in the Jumping Rock, but at Laurel Fork Falls, I had to take some things into consideration. Firstly, my shoulders were already sore, and I knew that I had at minimum 7 miles left today and another big paddle day planned for tomorrow. Secondly, and more importantly, the state park has a gate, and if I made it back too late, I would be stuck on the wrong side of the gate, which is not something I wanted to deal with. So I made the somewhat difficult decision to cut this long day slightly shorter, and it's a good thing I did. The last 2 miles back were absolutely brutal. The wind picked up and made it impossible to paddle in a straight line back to shore. I paddled essentially the entire last 2 miles on one side, which is not something I would recommend if you can avoid it. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to be always adventuring.